Oklahoma has done it. They reeled in the big one. 5-star David Stone has committed to the Sooners. An absolute huge pickup, landing the number 2 defensive lineman and the number 8 ranked player in America. Let's bring on Josh McCuistion of Soonerscoop.com. Josh, a massively important pickup. How were the Sooners able to close?
Well, you're right. This is the one Oklahoma had to have. David Stone being an interior guy that just brings all the skills and the notoriety. I mean, this is a player that you can sell to other recruits. So I think that's huge. But as far as how they won, I think it was just the production of NFL defensive lineman under Todd Bates at Clemson. I mean, there's a lot of track record there. His comfort with the staff, Bates, Brent Venables, Miguel Chavis. David's one of those guys that, he was at Oklahoma at a summer camp in early June. And he was just sitting around hanging out with the defensive backs coaches, some of the GAs. Like he's on a first-name basis with nearly everybody in that football facility. And I think that's just kind of hard to overlook. And like I've talked about time and time again, he's been there dozens of times. Mm-hmm. And I think that just was more than he could walk away from because he knows that staff so well. And he's got a special affinity for Oklahoma. So I think there were things working in Oklahoma's favor, but I also think the staff did a really good job kind of bringing this to the close, which we've seen be a problem a few times for Oklahoma.
Yeah, we know the importance of this on the recruiting trail, especially after missing on Williams and Nwaneri. But what does David Stone bring to the roster when he steps on campus in Norman?
I think the thing, when you look at Oklahoma's defensive line, obviously they went into the portal very heavy this offseason, and I think they've done a nice job addressing depth, and there's a certain type of player they've got, kind of big, physical, block eaters, is the best way I can think to say it. These are guys that are they're going to keep people busy and let those linebackers flow to the football. With David Stone, you get the kind of guy who can create pressure up the middle, that legitimately has the quickness and the athleticism to be that interior pass rusher that we all know it's just a nightmare for offensives to handle. There's no way to scheme out of that. That's just a problem to deal with. And David, with his length, like I said, his easy burst, and the fact that, anybody that's seen David, they see him listed as a defensive tackle and think he's going to be this big, heavy guy. David's still incredibly lean. There's a lot of room for his body to grow. And I just think he is the kind of guy that allows Brent Venables from that 3 technique, which has always been dating back to Tommy Harris, Gerald McCoy. It's been a fundamental piece of his defenses for, literally decades. So if he can have that guy to build that defensive line around, those have traditionally been his best defenses.
Now, we've talked about on this channel before about how important it is for Oklahoma to rebuild that defensive line in the 2024 cycle. And obviously David Stone is a huge piece of that. But is Oklahoma done, and how good could this D-line be in 2024?
Well, we all know we're, a little over a week away, I guess about 2 weeks away from Nigel Smith and his announcement. Yep. So you have that on the horizon. That's a big one for Oklahoma. You and I talked earlier this week. I felt really good about where that is. I still think Oklahoma's in great shape there. The other piece that I think is really fundamental to this class being what it can be is Danny Okoye, the in-state pass rusher from Tulsa NOAA. Yeah. And he is an incredibly raw player. There's so much to work on there with him. But guys that are 6'4", 6'5", 240 and run like Danny does, those guys just don't exist. Those are not easy to come by. And then you mix that in with a guy like Wyatt Gilmore that Oklahoma really likes from Minnesota, Jaden Jackson, David Stone's teammate from IMG. That's a really strong defensive line. Now, surely, they missed out on a few of the guys that maybe they wanted, but this is a big win for Oklahoma. Obviously, he continues to pursue Dominic McKinley as well. But you put just those 5 together, if they could close Okoye and Smith along with the news of David Stone today, that's a class like Oklahoma hasn't had a defensive line in 15 to 20 years.
Yeah, that is an impressive haul if it happens. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Today, it's all about David Stone, the number 2 ranked defensive lineman in America, the 8th best recruit overall. Josh McCuistion, I'm sure they are partying over on Sooner Scoop. Thank you for stopping by the Inside Scoop and talking a little bit more about Oklahoma's biggest addition yet.
They are going to be celebrating. They may watch this tomorrow, Josh, but they are ready.
Thank you.